Well, I think after watching that segment, I think all those videos reflect the same thing, that the quantity of the information has outpaced the quality of the information. Before we discuss that, I'd like to introduce via satellite our guest. He's a multi-talented performer. He has a new CD out called No World Order. Here he is, Todd Rundgren. How you doing,
Hello.
Todd?
How you doing?
Are you up in a satellite or what?
That's exactly.
All right, you look very nice up there.
Satellite of love.
Hey, Todd, what do you see as far as the future for music video in the 90s?
Well, I don't see that the form has evolved so quickly in the past that we can expect it to be completely different in the 90s. There is still a fair degree of diversity. Certainly Michael Jackson's videos have this kind of Hollywood quality, and as opposed to that, there might be the information overload style of YouTube videos. So I don't think you can single out a direction. I think that the more significant change is the ability of the audience to sort of talk back to the delivery system in a way, and maybe get a little bit more of what they would prefer to see, rather than a programmer director's idea of what good video is.
Richard, you've seen the Peter Gabriel, computer-generated technology, the Peter Gabriel Steam video. Have you seen that one?
I've seen the Steam. I think maybe they were talking about Kiss the Frog, which is the latest video, I think, which is almost like a ride.
It's one of these so-called motion platform rides. I've been to the company that essentially co-developed it, and it's a company called iWorks, and they make these things that are like Star Tours. I don't know if you've ever been in that in Disneyland. Essentially, you sit in a seat, and the seat moves around. So it gives you a greater sensory input, but it's not really interactive. You can't determine the scenario yourself. You just kind of go along for the ride.
Chris, how do you think this is going to affect music videos? Do you want to do a video where people go for a ride?
Todd, is it like Nintendo?
Yeah, you get big blisters on your thumbs.
You got to put it in more simple terms for me, Todd, baby. Is it like Nintendo or is it like Pong? I don't know.
It's a Super Mario thing,
I just played Nintendo the first time, and hey, amazing. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea about this kind of stuff. I don't get it. It's like, look, they don't let me push a wheelbarrow. I'm not allowed to do machinery there.
But perhaps Michael knows something about it. What's going to happen with all this stuff?
No, unfortunately not. I'm more with you this time. It's difficult for me to figure out how it's going to... I see how someone feeling they're taking part in something is going to be nice and interesting for them. To do with the thing itself, if it makes the work, either its commercial aspects or its artistic ones, better, I don't know. That's the puzzle to me.
Plus, do you want to have, you want to have like some, kind of rock band actually coming into your house? Do you mean actually that a virtual reality of a rock band in your house? Your kids are asleep and it's like 2 in the morning. I don't know.
Obviously, this isn't a fad. I mean, if you think there's always been fads in entertainment. There's been 3D, there's been smell-o-vision, whatever the hell it's been. This is obviously not a fad because it's to do with the whole change in communications which is going on as we move toward the next century. I don't know what it's going to do to the thing, because what we've been talking about, because Todd, before you came on, I mean, we were talking about, where this all started, and Elvis Presley, and some guy getting up there and singing the song that he wrote, and some kind of raw human being on the stage, and that's where rock and roll started as. And now it's gone on to such sophisticated levels, I don't know where the original little bit of dirt, which makes the oyster, what makes the pearl, what pearl it's going to be.
That's the exciting thing about it, though, is that so far it's been the province of technical people and business people who've invested in it. But as it turns now back to artists, it's a wide open field. It's like making films in 1900. Artists can make anything of this that they want to. The great thing is finding the emotional impulse that makes for a great song or a great film or whatever, and using this medium, define the medium. That's what's thrilling about it. Todd did something, he's the first to do it. There's no means of comparison. It's the last frontier in this thing. Well,
I think that, that the sort of apprehension you feel about learning new things is something that some people feel apprehensive about technology, and just have a natural tendency to shy away from it, even though it may not be as complicated as it seems to them. And so if if the new technology is going to become a valid tool for artists to express themselves in, they're going to have to understand, in the same way that the first time you pick up a guitar, you don't know how to make a G minor 7th chord or anything like that. You're going to have to invest a little bit of effort into learning some of these new things, but the rewards in the long run are that you can have a greater degree of control over the process and add new dimensions to the ways that you express yourself.
Just another technical question. The reason you can't see us is because you're on satellite, or is it because you're wearing glasses?
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, is that what's wrong?
That's it.
Okay, I'm going to have to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more of My Generation's Roundtable discussion on the music video.
And we have to realize, that as artists, musicians, and the legacy of popular music is not necessarily to make great, huge, grand statements. As a matter of fact, it's often so much just to get laid that we're really trying to create impressions of ourselves that don't exist.
Peter Noone back with you on My Generation's Roundtable History of Rock and Roll. Here I am with my special guests, Michael Lindsay-Hogg, Chris Isaak, Richard Marx, Don Was, and via satellite, Todd Rundgren. Hey Todd, just for Chris Isaak and I, would you tell us a little bit about interactive audio?
Interactive music.
While you're at it, Todd, also I'd like to know about the thing on the VCR. I got one. It's not a good one. I think it's the Eagle brand, but it says it's got like the day and the date.
Yeah.
It's always flashing. How do you?
Always flash. Always 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
It's always 12, right?
Not at your house, I'm betting. Huh? I bet yours says whatever day, right?
Yeah, whatever. Whatever day it is, it's okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. What was the question?
We were talking about interactive
yeah.
Don't wait for the
music.
translation, Senator.
Interactive music, yeah. Okay.
Interactive music.
Well, music has always been traditionally a linear form. In other words, it always has this very strict agenda. It starts in one place and ends in another place. Of course, jazz may not conform to that definition, but for the most part, it's something where the audience is really passive the whole time. And there are other art forms in which the agenda is determined a little bit more by the audience. For instance, if you go to a museum to look at some painting or sculpture, nobody says you can only look at it for 2 minutes, and you can only look at it from this particular angle. You have some control over the way you experience it, and the idea is to make music something in which the audience has a little bit more control of the experience. So the idea of interactive music is to allow the music to conform to a greater number of situations.
Don, I mean, if we get this interactive CD, can we like get rid of the drummer and then get rid of the singer, and then we can put the first verse at the end and stuff like that?
That's actually exactly what you can do with this.
You can get rid of the drummer.
Basically, he's broken his album down into segments of, where you can take the first verse of a song and tack it onto the chorus of the 8th song on the album. Maybe never ever listen to the 3rd song on the album. You can choose different versions with strip it down to where it's only drums and bass and vocal, or versions of the songs.
Remix it yourself.
Well, to a limited degree, yeah.
So Richard, listening to all this, what do you think is the future? Like 10 years from now when you watch VH1 and MTV, what do you think we're likely to see in videos?
God only knows.
Hopefully lots of yours.
Yeah, always. Hopefully, lots of whoever's you're talking to. I don't know. I'm fascinated by the technology. I'm impressed with what we're able to do, but it really, for me, so far at this stage of the game, hasn't entered into the way I create music. It hasn't. I mean, and for me, I don't think I'd really want anybody to be able to put the first verse of a song at the end of another one, and because that's the only thing I do feel like I have some control over in my whole life is what I put on a record.
Well, that's the thing, because when Todd was talking earlier about when you go to an art gallery and you see a painting, the painter thought, well, that's the way I like it best. I like that little bit of blue up there, and I like the face of it, like Van Gogh. I like the green eyes, whatever the hell he did. This is what I like best. And what's really interesting, because Todd's explaining it very, very well, it has to be in its infancy, this whole movement of what's going to happen, because at the moment, I sort of side with Richard. I like it to be what I think is right, and then if someone else wants another way, let him go do it himself.
I've been making music for 25 years, and I spent probably the greater portion of that, having pretty much the same attitude as everyone else, which is, this is a very precious thing, has to be exactly this way, and if I had the power to do it, I would have gone into people's homes and adjusted their stereos so that they would have gotten exactly the right spectral balance on everything, and sat them down and say, listen to this part, it's really good, this kind of stuff. And we have to realize, that as artists, musicians, and the legacy of popular music is not necessarily to make great, huge, grand statements. As a matter of fact, it's often so much just to get laid that we're really trying to create impressions of ourselves that don't exist. And in that sense, I've gotten to the point in my life where that's not useful to me anymore. And I just assume people know exactly what I'm doing in all of its aspects,
It's very exciting, but it's something completely new. I mean, I want to have a go. I mean, I'm interested in now having a go with your record and see what I can do to it, I mean,
Smoke, fire, good-looking women. Those three things are going to be in every video forever. Mark my words, kids.
Oh, I thought you said that you had to smoke, light a fire.
Good-looking women. They're going to be in all videos.
All right. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time, so don't forget to come and watch us again on My Generation's Roundtable History of Rock and Roll, when we all talk about videos of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Thanks for watching My Generation. Bye. Grammy award-winning record producer and a member of the group Was Not Was, Don Was. And later in our show, we'll be joined by satellite with via satellite.
Would you get it right? Once again, Don Was.
Okay, here we go. Grammy award-winning record producer and member of the group Was Not Was, Don Was. And later in our show, we'll be joined via satellite by Todd Rundgren. Rundgren.
Give me this, Jesus Christ.
Todd Rundgren. Oh, Jesus. Rundgren.
Just move your mouth later to add the words in.
Thank you. Loop me.
How do they get Mr. Ed to do it? With peanut butter, isn't it?
Strings.